Hello everybody, I am Hacklebeast, and we will be counting the entire... We will be casting the entirety of the ASL today. If you would like to count it too, you are more than welcome to. You'll be counting up to a very high number of 4, as there are 4 matches in a quarterfinal. In the top left, we have Shrinker as the purple Protoss. In the bottom left, we have WandS as the red Protoss, with quite possibly the 2 best players left. I mean, it's obviously very subjective, with every player in the round of 8 being easily C+ level, but I don't know, man. WandS, obviously, a lot of people consider him the favorite, as he did get 2nd place last time, reached B- in the trading up for that, and hasn't gotten worse since then. And Shrinker, on the other side, a lot of people have been talking about how good he is. So, a little bit unfortunate for these 2 players that they have to meet up in this stage, but so it is how tournaments goes now and then. We do have a PvP. Every matchup from this round of 8 will be a best of 5. So, best of 5 PvP, best of 5 PvZ, best of 5 PvP, and cap it off with a best of 5 PvT. Because we here in the ASL like our Protosses a whole lot. So, both players scouting out. Actually, I don't think the scouting probe saw it. No. The scouting probes did not see each other. Interesting. They came very close, but because Shrinker was a little bit on the inside, wanted to check out the center, he did not see WandS' scouting probe, which means that Shrinker is now heading in the wrong direction after checking the center. A little bit unfortunate for him. Alright. So, we have Shrinker. He has his gateway up. He has an assimilator, presumably getting the cyber core next, as would be standard. And WandS doing the same thing on the other side. So, no 2-gate. And not to shit on 2-gate players, as there certainly are a lot of 2-gate players, but we didn't have a whole lot of just straight up one-gate tech versus 1-gate tech play in the earlier rounds. But this doesn't surprise me that now we're getting to see some higher level players. You see them more relying on faster tech rather than more gateways. This is not a revolutionary development right here. So Shrinker is still scouting out with the probe. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't just go cross, based on how quickly WandS' probe got to his base. I thought that might be a little bit of a hint, but apparently Shrinker just wants to continue to go around in the circle. That's fine. It's going to be a little bit unfortunate for him, as he's not able to get the probe in to scout, as there are 2 zealots and a probe in the ramp. There could be a 3rd zealot. There's not going to be, as he's not making one. But, ooh, actually he's moving away with the probe. I think he needs the probe to actually finish the block here. This is a very fat ramp. And no? Apparently not. Never mind then. WandS knows exactly what the hell he's doing. And what he's doing is going DT rush. So it's a very good thing he got this block off, because if the probe got in, that would be disastrous for him. We do see Shrinker going for the normal stuff. He has his first goo now to just kill the scouting probe, and is now getting Dragoon range. And now the Robo. Okay. So we do have a relatively fast Robo for Shrinker. Not as fast of tech as WandS skipped over his range to be able to rush out this Templar Archives. If Shrinker goes Observer, then that's just going to be a brutal hard counter to what WandS is doing right now. And WandS is just going to have to kind of throw up his hands and GG, most likely. If he goes Robo, Shrinker's still in a good position. He won't have the Observers quite out in time, but he won't suffer that much damage. And because WandS doesn't have his range, doesn't have Robo Tech, which is a little bit better at this stage in the game to have, and doesn't have a gateway count, Shrinker will still probably be ahead if he doesn't suffer too much. Now WandS doing what DT players normally do and going for the fast expansion. If your DTs are going to be successful, it means that your opponent just cannot attack because they don't have the observers. So you can go and take a very unsafe expansion like this. It all of a sudden becomes very safe, assuming that your opponent does not have observers out. But Shrinker's gonna have observers. He went very safe. Very, very safe build from Shrinker in pretty much what is designed to stop this DT rush. The observatory is done, and the first observer is certainly going to be out in time to stop that DT from even getting past here. Certainly out in time before the DT can rack up any probe kills. And this is going to be pretty hard for WandS to hold off. It looks like he's going cannons to help, to help guard his base. That's going to be nice. He's definitely going to be at a unit disadvantage because he doesn't have the gateway count. And, ooh, Shrinker sees. Wow, very nice from Shrinker. Paying attention, looking for the shimmer, and he saw it. Then pulling out back his Dragoons just in case to block the ramp. Shrinker could not be playing this any safer at this point, and I mean that in the best way possible. It's almost as if he knew a DT rush was coming. Like, that's how you would be playing if you knew your opponent was going DTs. You would go for one gate obs, you'd get your goon range, then you would be watching for the shimmer right here the entire time, which he did, and block the ramp as soon as you saw it. Possibly he's practiced with WandS. Possibly he heard through the grapevine that WandS was planning on DT rushing him, at least in one of these games. Alright, and WandS does have his High Templar out. Storm still needs a little bit more time. Ooh, the problem with Storm at this stage in the game is not only does your opponent's units not clump up as much, because there's a lot fewer of them, it also means that when you Storm, it's going to be a lot easier for Shrinker to Storm dodge, because he's paying attention. Nope. He needs to pull back a little bit. So, High Templar are typically good in the later stages of a PvP, but at this stage, it's hard to use them effectively, because your opponent can really counter that. That being said, the High Templar are obviously not the major part of this defense, the cannons are. And it looks like he's going Robo anyway. Going for a Robo at this stage, not uncommon, but given its position, it looks like he wants to get Reavers out of it. And going for High Templar and then getting Reavers is a little bit of an oddity. Alright. Well, Shrinker has a Citadel, and now getting his own Templar Archives. Obviously he sees the cannons, so he knows the DTs aren't going to be able to help him out a whole lot in a bust attempt. Maybe wanting to get it for the High Templar, in case he just doesn't want to play a Reaver game, which apparently he doesn't, as he has no support. And even if he doesn't use the High Templar to reinforce his army, obviously Storm drops, very effective. Just plop it down right here, get a good Storm off. As we learned from Noise's TVT, Storm drops are pretty effective in a PvP matchup. Alright. And WandS is getting the observatory and no support. Interesting. This is the normal thing to do, to be getting observers and not going for Reavers right now. Just on the position of the Robo facility. Not important. I mean, if Shrinker busts through the front and manages to pick off the Robo, he's also picking off the Nexus and the game's over anyway. So, anyway, WandS flying in, flies right over the scouting pylon and turns back instead of deciding to continue with it. There are actually a lot of scouting pylons here to ensure that, apparently he was just leapfrogging his way forward to getting better and better scouts. Also could be scouting. Well, yeah, he wanted to scout here for the drop earlier, and then he's putting him here so he could scout things coming in. Possibly also DT him. Alright. Okay. So, WandS with 108 supply, Shrinker with just a little bit more. And that... missed it. Damn. Apparently didn't get his own building. Oh, I cannot find these. Okay. So, yeah, Shrinker with a little bit of a supply lead, and that really just comes from having the gateways, earlier, and, some very, brutal, absolutely brutal storm from WandS, and Shrinker with no tech of his own, despite having a little bit more supply. That does not stand up to 4 beautifully, beautifully placed storms. And while I said that High Templar weren't very good at that stage of the game a little while ago, this really is where the High Templar start to become slightly better than the Reavers, and you can see what kind of damage they do when you get your good storms off. Storm the probes. There we go, storming the probes, taking out a whole mess of them, and another storm to pick off all the probes but one. 13 probe kills right there. Beautiful from WandS. And yet he has more storms. There is a DT up, but WandS, despite all that storming, has been very careful to keep his observer alive. So the DT's not going to do a whole lot here. We have an Archon in to help out even a little bit more. High Templar, he still has storms. Man, that's a benefit you get from building those High Templars so early. They just have so much energy for the storms. They don't even have the energy upgrade, which is a little bit surprising. He was able to get off so many. They must have all had full energy. And then even some of them recovered energy to be able to get another storm out. But those storms won the game. Just outright game over. WandS takes game 1.